some perspective on what this announcement means for growth of the church and how Utah could be affected. Also this hour,
but ultimately we're going to be sticking around the 3% range, probably for the foreseeable future.
The latest inflation numbers are out a week late thanks to the government shutdown, but what do they actually mean for you and your wallet? We'll chat with Bankrate to find out. But first, our top stories. The Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints is announcing 55 new missions. It's aimed to accommodate a rising number of missionaries and better help congregations around the world. Now, the new missions are set for countries all over the world with new locations in Africa, Europe, and Asia. Utah County Commission is asking UTA to fund a pair of projects left off their 2026 budget. We get details from KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff.
When UTA's 2026 budget was released, it included projects in Salt Lake, Davis, and Weber counties, but no projects in Utah County. The Daily Herald reports that's why the County Commission is sending UTA a letter asking them to redo the budget and include the on-demand service around Thanksgiving Point and the fixed-route bus service into Eagle Mountain City Center that was promised.
Utah County Commissioner Skylar Beltran says transportation is the county's number one issue. Our top national story from ABC News, more than 500,000 federal workers missed their first full paycheck because of the government shutdown. Furloughed Labor Department worker Imelda Avila Thomas is one of them.
It hurts. It hurts a lot for us not to have that money and for us not to be able to supply the things that our family needs.
Her husband is also a federal worker on furlough. The latest inflation numbers show consumer prices increased 3% in September over last year. Prices are also 2.9% higher in October from last month, which is more than the Fed's 2% target. The inflation report was delayed due to the government shutdown, but is legally required to be released as the numbers are used to determine cost of living adjustments for Social Security recipients. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 561 points, about 1.25%, sitting at 47,296. S&P 500 up by 68 points. The NASDAQ up by 306 points. President Trump has canceled trade talks with Canada. He posted on social media overnight saying the decision comes in response to a TV ad from Canada about tariffs. Mr. Trump is accusing Canada of trying to illegally influence the Supreme Court on the issue. Russia stepping up attacks on major Ukrainian cities using more powerful weapons in at least one strike, launching so-called glide bombs today for the first time against the Ukrainian city of Odessa.
These are very, very powerful bombs that can bring down whole buildings easily, and Russia now increasingly appears able to launch these things much deeper into Ukraine. Some also hit the city of Kharkiv today, Ukraine's second largest city. So this development is something that is being watched with a great deal of fear and concern inside Ukraine.
That is ABC's Patrick Reevell at the Foreign Desk. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
The 21st South Freeway is open once again eastbound SR 201 at I-215's West Belt. So we are back to seeing traffic move through the area very well. We do have a spot of slowing. This is southbound I-15 going from Weber into Davis County, and it's all due to construction with restricted lanes of travel southbound I-15 from Roy to Clearfield. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And the forecast for the Wasatch Front, a high today of 64, a lot of sunshine, clouds moving in tomorrow, and that 10% chance of showers creeping back into the forecast for your Saturday, a high of 70 and a 50% chance of rain on Sunday. 61 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Get set for fall entertaining with incredible deals at Scandinavian Designs. The Fall Entertaining Sale features huge savings on select furniture and decor for every space, from dining and living rooms to guest spaces ready for overnight stays. Refresh your home today and make it holiday ready just in time for the gathering season ahead. But only for a limited time. Scandinavian Designs. We make it simple, you make it home. Stop by your local showroom today or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Today, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints announced a major expansion in the mission field. Starting on July 1st of 2026, the church will add 55 new missions around the world, bringing the total number of missions to 506. The church says more than 84,000 people are serving missions right now. That includes young adults who teach, service missionaries, and senior missionaries. Now, it's quite the increase from just 65,000 at the end of 2022. Joining me now to talk about this announcement is Sarah Jane Weaver, current editor of the Deseret News and former editor of the Church News. Thanks for coming in and talking to me about this.
Well, thanks as always for having me.
So first of all, give us your reaction to this announcement.
Well, I think this is a very exciting time for members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints because they're seeing momentum and energy, and young people are serving missions for the church in, as you know, locations they don't choose. Women serve for 18 months, men serve for 24 months, and this is sort of the prime of their life, and now they're doing it in record number.
Yeah, talk about this number. Has the church ever announced this many new missions at once?
Well, just 2 years ago, the church added 36 new missions. And at the time, they thought that was in response to the clarion call of President Russell M. Nelson, who in April of 2022 asked men and young women to serve missions. He said this is a religious responsibility for Latter-day Saint young men, and a very good opportunity for Latter-day Saint young women. And immediately numbers started to go up. And so we're seeing today's announcement as an indication that President Dallin H. Oaks, who is the newly sustained prophet of the church, is going to carry on in that direction, that he's going to emphasize missionary work, and that he cares about the development and this service opportunity for young people in the church.
So give us an idea about where these missions are. Are any of these in Utah?
Yeah, we don't have any missions in Utah, but some really interesting numbers. 16 of these new missions are in Africa. And what a great thing to think about for an international church expanding into that area. 14 missions are in the United States, including in some areas pretty close to us. There's 3 in California and 1 in Idaho and 1 in Arizona. And then there's 5 missions in the Philippines and in the Pacific, and 4 in Europe and in South America. And so you're just seeing a continual expansion of the global footprint of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
For those people who may not understand how a mission works, can you just describe how the missions operate?
So when a young man or young woman wants to serve a mission, he or she turns in missionary papers and is assigned at headquarters to a geographic mission that is overseen by 2 mission leaders, always a married couple. And in that geographic area, there are between 100 and 250 missionaries, and they work together to build the church in that area and to testify of Jesus Christ.
So what does this say about the trend that religious organizations are seeing right now, not just this church, but all churches when it comes to young people coming to church?
Well, we're seeing some interesting trends. Just in 2023, Pew Research released some findings that said young people are, especially this current generation, are leaving organized religion at some of the highest rates that we have seen before. But recent surveys are showing something a little different. They're showing a stabilization of religion, especially Christianity in the United States. And so maybe this younger generation is returning to organized religion.
So what do you think this says about the growth of the church to add all of these missions?
Well, it wasn't just a few months ago, Elder Quentin L. Cook of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints said that the last 18 months had been the greatest period of growth for convert baptisms in recent church history. And so this could be a reflection of that. He also reported higher levels of sacrament meeting attendance. That's the weekly worship service for Latter-day Saints. And so we're seeing more people coming to the church than in the past, and they're staying and participating at higher levels than in the past.
We've talked a lot about the new presidency. What do you think this says about things that we should expect in the future?
Well, I think that we can expect a continued direction and enthusiasm and growth of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints under the leadership of President Dallin H. Oaks. He obviously cares about the young people. This announcement today is an indication that he cares very strongly about missionary work and is establishing a system where every single young person or senior person, there's also missionary opportunities for retired adults to serve full-time missions, but now they have a structure that is expanding that can give them support and abilities to do that work.
Thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about this.
Well, as always, thanks for having me.
And that is Sarah Jane Weaver, editor of the Deseret News. Stay with us. We'll be back with more Midday in just 60 seconds.
I have to admit, it drives me nuts when we start talking about Christmas so early in the year, but it is a good time right now for you to make your reservations for the family gathering, for the company party, all kinds of special events during the holidays. Make your reservations right now. It's not too early at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. What a great way to welcome out-of-town guests, to thank your employees for a great year at your business. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse during the holidays, too, is just magical. The two locations, Hotel Park City, right up there in that beautiful mountain environment, and of course where all the hustle and bustle of the city is happening, 275 Southwest Temple in Salt Lake City. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse for the holidays, and you will get that perfectly prepared steak and so much more at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
The Utah County Commission speaking out against UTA's proposed budget for 2026. The commission says that the proposal fails to meet the transit needs of the county's residents and that it doesn't reflect the rapid growth occurring within communities of the county. In a letter penned by Commissioner Schuyler Beltran, he says UTA's budget proposal includes $43 million in state and local dollars towards projects in Salt Lake, Davis, and Weber counties, and that there's no significant projects being funded in Utah County. Beltran writes that Utah County has pledged its own money to help expedite UTA projects in the county, but there's still been little or no progress. The other two county commissioners signed on to that letter, which was sent to the UTA's Board of Trustees, and I talked with Commissioner Amelia Powers Gardner about her key traffic concerns.
Our concerns for Utah County is that we were really hoping to see some expanded service. Utah County, we stepped up. We passed the fifth. We've got money that we can spend on local public transit. We've got Eagle Mountain that has little to no service. We comprise of over 43% of the state's growth, and a lot of those people are in the far-reaching county areas of our county that don't have service. That's also where our affordable housing is. Those are the people that need it the most, and we're just not seeing an expansion in their 2026 budget for our citizens.
Now, according to this letter you sent, you pretty much feel like you're being ignored or overlooked.
Yeah, it does feel like we're being overlooked. We had been told that we would have service in two key areas that have needed service for years, and that service was supposed to be in this budget. When the budget came out and they asked for our opinion, we noticed it was gone, and so as a response to them asking for our opinion, we thought we'd let them know we feel like we're not being heard and that our citizens are not getting the service they need.
So what are you asking them to do?
What we're asking is that they take another look at that budget and they see if there is a possibility to expand service. I do know that sometimes a bus route can be a little bit challenging, especially when we have a lot of construction going on in that corridor. But we're looking for an on-demand service possibly. We're willing to foot part of the bill for that on-demand service. We have some areas that there could be some creative and innovative solutions that the legislature has approved that we would like to see come to fruition.
So talk a little bit about the services that you would help with, like the on-demand service. What exactly would that entail?
The on-demand service would be almost like an Uber that would have a subsidized rate utilizing UTA and county funds. So you would have an app on your phone where you could call and do bridge a gap is what they call the last mile. So this could get you from the front runner station to the areas around that in Lehigh, for example, or in Eagle Mountain where there really isn't any intercity bus service. You could get from maybe a shopping center to another shopping center.
Kind of talk about who is most affected. You mentioned some of these areas, but who is most affected without any way to get from one point to the other?
Our largest complaints come from the Eagle Mountain and Saratoga Springs area. A lot of the people affected are families that only have one car. So that's more of our affordable housing. And you've got a family with one car where you've got maybe one of the parents that takes that car to work and the other one is at home and doesn't have a way to go grocery shopping or bring children anywhere. The other group that is highly affected by this lack of service is young adults that don't yet have a car but want to have a job, right? I mean, if you're 17, 18, you've got a driver's license, you need a job to be able to get a car, but you can't get to the job because there's no bus service and you don't have a car.
Yeah. Any final thoughts for us?
I think moving forward, we're not necessarily wanting to just criticize UTA, but we want UTA to know that we need more service in Utah County. Our population is asking for this. We are willing to put up money, and we need them to find innovative solutions to help us bridge the gap until we can get some good permanent bus service for our people.
We've reached out to UTA for comment, but have not yet heard back. The weather might be cooling, but the trade wars are heating up again. After the break, a closer look at the president's decision to end trade talks with Canada. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky, do we still have an emergency traffic situation?
We do not. We have the freeway open once again, eastbound on the 21st South Freeway at I-215's West Belt. But we do have delays. A lot of this is due to road work with lane restrictions. And this construction slowdown is now stretching southbound I-15 from just before Riverdale Road all the way into Clearfield. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
With the weather getting colder, this is the time to start up your furnace. If you've been having problems with your furnace, this is a great time to really get a new furnace, especially a hybrid furnace where there are all these energy rebates that are about to expire. I've had At Your Service Pros replace my furnace and AC, and they saved me more than $7,000 with these rebates. And you know why I like At Your Service Pros? They're a family company. They're locally owned. When I call them, they're there for me. They recently came out and helped me with an electrical problem. I have another problem they're helping me fix. And you know what? Right now, they're giving you a special deal, $49 on furnace tune-ups, $39 on electrical inspections, and $75 off electrical repairs, because they know things are tight right now and they want to help you out and make sure that you're comfortable this winter. You can also call them for all of your heating, air, plumbing, and electrical needs. And to call them, all you need to do is dial 801-YOUR-PRO or visit atyourservicepros.com, atyourservicepros.com.
Okay, all signed up. Easy. Now let's run payroll. What the? Hey girl, I'm you with more gusto. Nice. Who's that? New social media manager. Hired and onboarded with gusto. And spoiler, we're kind of famous now. Wait, we're famous? Oh, well, I'm famous. Payroll, benefits, and HR. Designed and built for small businesses. Choose a future with gusto.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
When you take your grandkids to Disney, do they know what's in your investment portfolio? Do they even care? They're busy having a great time, and you're busy making memories. At Galileo Wealth Management, we understand the nuts and bolts of retirement planning, our investments, the stock market, taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and more. But think about it. What are you trying to do here? Is your goal to beat the S&P? Or is your goal to make memories with your family? Our goal is to give you the confidence to spend in retirement without the fear of running out of money. Call Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management today, 801-516-3227. That's 801-516-3227, or go online to GalileoWealth.com. Let Todd Kim and Galileo Wealth Management help you make memories, not just money.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
I'm Jenny Oaks Baker, and I invite you to Joy to the World.
It was sacred, exquisitely beautiful, and Jenny's talent on the violin is unmatched.
Featuring choirs, dancers, and My Children musical group, Family 4. Plus world-renowned mezzo-soprano Angela Brower and celebrated baritone and narrator Preston Yates.
Was just like emotionally stirring. The dancers, the singers, Jenny and her family, just bringing to life the beautiful music.
Experience a Christ-centered Christmas as we proudly support Light the World.
It's so beautiful to see how they use all of their talents to just testify of the Savior.
Get your tickets for Joy to the World, a sacred celebration at jennyoaksbaker.com.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. President Trump calling off trade talks with Canada today, posting overnight that it's due to a television ad paid for by Canadian province of Ontario. Now, the ad features parts of a 1987 speech by President Ronald Reagan, in which he blames trade tariffs for high prices and job losses. No mention of the ad today by the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney in Ottawa, saying the two countries have made a lot of progress in areas including steel, aluminum, and energy.
We stand ready to pick up on that progress and build on that progress when the Americans are ready to have those discussions.
The Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, posted on X saying that Canada and the U.S. are friends, neighbors, and allies, and that President Reagan knew that we were stronger together. So here's the ad put out by the provincial government in Ontario, the one that is causing all the ruckus today.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. Throughout the world, there's a growing realization that the way to prosperity for all nations is rejecting protectionist legislation and promoting fair and free competition. America's jobs and growth are at stake.
President Trump calls the ad fake, saying tariffs are important to the national security and economy of the U.S. Posting on Truth Social, he said that all trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated. The Reagan Foundation said the ad misrepresents what the president said, saying that the former president's remarks were edited without permission. Here's what President Reagan actually said in his address, taken straight from the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute.
You see, at first, when someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. What eventually occurs is, first, homegrown industries start relying on government protection in the form of high tariffs. They stop competing and stop making the innovative management and technological changes they need to succeed in world markets. And then, while all this is going on, something even worse occurs. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. The result is more and more tariffs, higher and higher trade barriers, and less competition. So soon, because of the prices made artificially high by tariffs that subsidize inefficiency and poor management, people stop buying. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. The memory of all this occurring back in the 30s made me determined when I came to Washington to spare the American people the protectionist legislation that destroys prosperity.
The Reagan Presidential Foundation did not say what was misleading about the ad, but did say it was reviewing its legal options against the province for airing the former president's words without their permission. News Nation White House correspondent Kelly Meyer joined Inside Sources this morning to give perspective on whether or not the ad is misleading.
The words are what he said, but it is the way that they put it together is a little bit misleading. The president is saying that it's an allegedly fake advertisement, the way they did it. The Ontario Premier, Doug Ford, is saying that these are words that Reagan had said. So there's a bit of back and forth there. We did hear from Carney this morning, the Prime Minister of Canada, saying kind of not talking so much about the ad, but saying that I do hope we can reignite these discussions with trade talks with President Trump. I was in the Oval Office when Carney was here not too long ago on October 7th, and they seemed like they were having a positive discussion, a friendly meeting, and the president even said there that the two countries have great love for one another. So it seems like there is this back and forth between the two countries for quite a while. They didn't walk away with some sort of trade agreement then, and right now, obviously the president saying those talks are terminated, but Carney leaving it as, we hope we could get these back up and running.
Now, I usually don't like to end a segment with a question, but in this case, I do have a question for you. Did the Ontario government misrepresent President Reagan's comments on tariffs? You've heard both his original comments and you have heard the ad, and I want you to decide. You go ahead and text me and tell me your thoughts on this issue. You can text me at 57500. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. A week late and $1 short. The latest inflation numbers are out. We'll dig into what that means for your family's finances. Shark Tank meets the nonprofit world, a local competition between community organizations for a $15,000 grant. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
An accident northbound I-15 in West Valley getting moved to the left. Maria?
That chance of showers for tomorrow creeping back into the forecast. We now again have a 10% chance of showers and a really great chance of showers on Sunday. KSL's top local stories in 1 minute. It's 1:30.
ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. An Ontario political ad that President Trump cited as a reason for calling off trade negotiations with Canada will now be pulled off the air, according to Premier Doug Ford. The ad features clips of a 1987 radio address from President Ronald Reagan, in which he criticizes tariffs as a long-term economic strategy. A not guilty plea today from New York Attorney General Letitia James in a fraud case leveled by the Trump administration. ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas is in Norfolk, Virginia.
I was struck by her comments of her motivation. She seemed very frustrated, but also saying that she will not fear. She will not fear, and that she will continue to pursue her job.
The government has alleged James misled a bank in order to get a more favorable mortgage. The FBI has announced it's taken down the Weymouth Street drug trafficking organization in Philadelphia. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. UDOT is anticipating some delays on westbound US 6 this weekend because of a fall break and it being the final weekend for deer hunting season. Department is warning drivers to plan for delays up to 60 minutes or more. Arguments continue today before a Utah judge who ordered the state legislature to redraw the congressional district maps this fall. The arguments are focused on whether the maps follow an initiative aimed at preventing gerrymandering. State leaders say the judge needs to have a new congressional map approved and adopted by November 10th. Faith leaders around the world gathered in Vatican City to discuss the ethics of AI. Leaders with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints gave their input. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
The church sees a lot of potential uses for AI, says member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, Elder Garrett W. Gahn.
Properly used, AI can help preserve and celebrate our past and future. This includes our artistic birthright and our cultural and artistic inheritances.
However, he also warned that many AI models are starting to only tell people what they want to hear. He called for faith leaders around the world to advocate for faith and ethics evaluations. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is making changes to 2 of 4 canonized scriptures. A news release from the church states the changes are minor adjustments to correct facts discovered by historical research of the Joseph Smith Papers Project and to provide contextual clarity. Tony Award-winning winner Stephanie J. Block will be the special guest at this year's Tabernacle Choir Christmas concert. Stephanie sat down with Utah's Morning News host Andy Farnsworth. She says she's been doing everything she can to prepare herself.
Listening to all of the albums, watching some of the PBS specials. But it really seems to me like you might be standing at the front of a train, like that wall of sound that comes from those 330 voices is wild to me. It's exciting to me. It makes me tear up a little bit.
Block is known for her role as Wicked's Elphaba on Broadway alongside her husband, Sebastian Arcellus. He will be the second guest star in the performance as narrator. Tickets will be distributed by random selection. You can sign up online starting next Tuesday on the choir's website. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We've had delays on southbound I-15 through the construction zone as you go from the I-84 junction just before that in Riverdale all the way down to Clearfield. And an accident reported northbound Bangor Highway prior to 4100 South in the left lane in West Valley. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A lot of sunshine and 64 degrees today. Tomorrow the high up to 70, but that 10% chance of showers creeping back into the forecast. 50% chance of rain for your Sunday, 56 for a high. 61 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Before the break, I asked you to chime in on whether or not an ad from the province of Ontario using President Reagan's comments on tariffs were misrepresenting the former president's remarks, and you chimed in. And I'm going to tell you before I start reading that these remarks are all over the place, and I'm going to read them as they came in. So the first one from Phil says they absolutely misrepresented the intent and the content of Reagan's comments. They imply with their edited version that trade tariffs lead to job losses. What they left out is that tariffs lead to laziness on the part of the businesses that are now protected by the government, which leads to poor management, which leads to poor business, which leads to layoffs and unemployment. The next person says Reagan's comments, as shared by Canada, were perfect. The next person said, I don't think that President Reagan's comments were misleading. The next, I don't feel like his words were misconstrued or taken out of context. The next says President Reagan's words were taken out of context. The reason is that tariffs were used as a tool, mostly against Japan. That's the reason for that. Next one, yes, Canada misrepresented Reagan's words. And then finally, I do not believe Reagan's statement was significantly changed so as to be misleading. And I think that we are seeing some movement in the economy already in a negative direction due to tariffs, just as Reagan warned. Thank you so much for texting in and being part of the program this morning. And you can always chime in with your comments on our stories. Just text 57500. The newest inflation report is out, and it could be the last one for some time. The report showing a somewhat mixed bag on inflation, with the consumer price index rising 3% from a year earlier. But what does that actually mean for you and your family? How much more will you spend on things like groceries or gas? And then there's the question of Social Security payments. Those are now set to rise due to a cost of living adjustment. But with the government shutdown still hanging over our heads, what should we take away from today's report? I spoke with Stephen Cates, a financial analyst at Bankrate, to get some answers.
So the average American family should know that inflation is here to stay. We're seeing inflation start to moderate a little bit, but ultimately we're going to be sticking around the 3% range, probably for the foreseeable future.
Boy, so how does that help us make decisions about our lives? What kinds of things should we be thinking about?
Well, within the total inflation measure, 3% annually for September 2024 to September 2025, there's different components. There's new and used cars. There's food at home and food away, eating out. You've got shelter. You've got electricity costs, gas prices. All of these different details, they're not necessarily moving in lockstep with one another. Some are going up, some are going down, some are staying flat altogether. All of those together are getting us to that total sort of top line number. So the average person, they may not see in their life, if they added up all the costs, they may not see them rising at 3%. It could be higher, it could be lower. And that's something that people should really try to understand in their own lives. What are the things that they are buying, or what are the things that they are using, and how can they manage their costs in that way? Can they take all the dollars that they have to spend, their budget, and allocate them differently to try to get more of what they need the most and spend less on what they need the least? For some people, that might be, we're going to go out to eat less. We're going to cook at home more. We're going to make coffee at home instead of buying it out, because coffee has gone up precipitously in the last few quarters. So those are things that people will need to make some decisions on if they feel like their budget is getting constrained. But overall, not all of this is going to be within their control. We cannot control exactly how much electricity or gas prices are going up month to month, or what is happening with importing food or the cost of medical services. So those are things that you can't really have too much of a control over. But where you can control it, you should try to take some action to substitute or go without things you just don't need.
How does the government shutdown affect reports like this?
Oh boy, how much time do you have? So the government shutdown really is causing a whole lot of issues with this. I guess let me start with the fact that this CPI report is a bit unusual because it is the only report that has come out during the shutdown. And the reason it's come out at all is because there's a legal requirement for the Bureau of Labor Statistics to calculate the Social Security cost of living adjustment by November 1st. And that's the only reason we got the CPI report at all, because they had to create the cost of living adjustment for Social Security. And to do that, they need the full third quarter CPI measure, which includes September. So that's why we got this. Without that, we wouldn't have gotten CPI. And the White House already told us that we're not going to get one for October, regardless of whether the shutdown ends, because they have not collected any data. So the impact of the shutdown is that we are having a hard time monitoring exactly what's going on in the economy while this is happening. We're not getting labor reports. We're not going to get any more CPI reports until the shutdown ends. We're really kind of flying blind in a lot of ways. And so for policymakers like the Federal Reserve, that is tricky. They got the CPI report, luckily in time for the meeting next week, but they don't have a lot of other data around labor and retail sales and many other items that they would probably really like to monitor. So it's going to make their job harder. And come December, when the Fed meets again, they will have even less data, because if we don't have reports from September, if we don't have most of or all of the reports from October, then they're going to be dealing with very, very stale data.
You mentioned the Social Security part, and that they are going to give an increase due to inflation. They have to give an increase due to inflation. But will recipients actually get that money with the shutdown?
So yes, they will. So 2.8% was the amount calculated, and that translates into about $56 extra per month for the average recipient. But people can look to the fact that this was calculated at all, at how important Social Security is. There's a sanctity to the Social Security program that is not easily brushed aside. Again, the reason that we got CPI at all is solely to support this calculation for Social Security. It's that important that it, more than anything else, was done out of the ordinary to make it happen. So people can expect that they're going to get their increase. What we don't know yet is how much it's truly going to give to people, in their pocket, because Medicare premiums will not be announced, or the increase to Medicare premiums will not be announced until November.
Oh.
So how much people actually get, extra take-home pay, that's unclear. So if we assume that people are going to get, about $56 more every month, on that sort of average Social Security benefit, if Medicare premiums go up by $22, $25, which was kind of the expectation that the Medicare, the Committee for Medicare kind of announced in earlier in the summer, well, that cuts away almost half of that increase. And for people who have higher incomes, which it may matter a little bit less, their Medicare premiums are going to go up that much more. And so it may take even bigger bite out of that increase for the cost of living adjustment. So what people actually end up with in their pocket is going to be a lot less than those $56 or whatever the benefit increase is going to be, because Medicare premiums are a part of that calculation, and we just don't know what that is yet.
Let me make sure I understand. So it almost sounds like we aren't going to be getting the financial data even when the government reopens that you have often, or you use to really analyze the economy. Just tell us why that's important to the regular guy. Why should we care that we're not getting this information and not knowing the latest?
Yeah, so you're correct that what it seems to be now, and this is a bit abnormal. This hasn't happened in quite a long time, but the Bureau of Labor Statistics, to use them as an example, they're not collecting any data. And so even if the shutdown ends today, which I don't think it will, but even if it ended today, they don't have any data to produce the reports for October. So they couldn't if they wanted to, because they never collected the data. And that's something that puts them in a position where there will be no reports released next month covering October, whether the shutdown is finished or not. That is abnormal. That hasn't happened in a long time. And it's a problem. It's a problem mostly for policymakers. So when we think about how the Federal Reserve is going to make their decisions about whether to cut interest rates, which those are going to impact consumers, how does that, lower rates impacts borrowing costs. And if they can't make their decisions about what is or isn't the right decision, they may make no decision at all. It's hard to know exactly how they're going to sort of view this situation. We're getting into a bit of an unprecedented situation where data is not being collected, reports will not be produced, federal workers are not being paid, and that's impacting the economy in a big way. So all of those things together, we're seeing these impacts of the shutdown add up and build, and they're only going to build further.
Stephen Cates is a financial analyst at Bankrate. The director of the White House National Economic Council said today's inflation report is fantastic. A competition bringing together Utah nonprofits in a kind of a Shark Tank competition. We'll find out more about this exhilarating event coming up after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We've had an accident southbound I-15 as you're approaching 650 North Clearfield. That's been adding to the delays that stretch back into Riverdale, along with the construction, adding to those backups. An accident now in the cleanup stages. It was over to the left, northbound Bangerter Highway approaching 4100 South. Common Spirit Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
How are you feeling about your home? Is it time for just kind of an upgrade, time to spruce it up a bit, remodel just a touch? I want to tell you about something that'll make a huge difference, and that's changing out your windows or even just your front door. That'll make a huge difference. And the people to check out when you're looking to do some of this is Peach Windows and Doors. Not only will their windows and doors improve the efficiency going into the cold weather, but they will give your home that $1 million feel that it deserves. Peach is a trusted name in windows and doors. They do luxury homes, they do remodels, they do new home builds, and they have a wide range of high-quality products for you to choose from. Now, they specialize in custom windows that have a contemporary look with the larger glass, slim frames, and they also have the European-style windows that tilt and turn and just make them so easy to clean. And they have wonderful doors, beautiful entry doors, French doors, sliding glass doors. It's just fun to go in there and just see how easily they glide, especially when you have older doors. And they can add that final touch with window coverings. They have the motorized custom roller shades that you open and close with your phone. Pay them a visit today at their Salt Lake showroom, or you can call them at 801-566-1255 or go to peachwindowsanddoors.com to learn more.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
Salt Lake City International Airport keeps growing. On October 28th, 10 new gates and 6 concessions open. Delta adds a second Sky Club, and American Express unveils a Centurion Lounge. Come experience the new SLC.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
If you are facing divorce, call Cordell and Cordell today.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. CordellCordell.com.
Do you know how to tell if a clogged drain is something to worry about or not? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I understand it's annoying and inconvenient, but sometimes a clogged drain can be a sign there's a more serious issue with your sewer main line. If the drains in the lowest level of your home aren't draining, or you flush a toilet and it comes up somewhere else like a shower or a floor drain, I'm urging you to look at this as more than just an annoyance. The last thing I want you to experience is a sewer backup. If you're a homeowner experiencing any of these issues, the first step would be to snake the line to see if it's just a blockage, which one of our drain techs can do for only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A contest to help nonprofits secure grants coming to Salt Lake this coming Monday. The Shark Tank-style contest pits 8 Utah nonprofits against one another in a contest for $3 $15,000 grants. The executive director of Indy Square, Vincent Carson, says the event is designed to uplift nonprofits and foster community connection.
80 Pitch is our first foray into philanthropic giving. It's Shark Tank meets grant making. So we have 8 community organizations. They're all nonprofit organizations that are under $300,000 a year in annual budget. They're going to get on stage and pitch a new initiative. They have 6 minutes each. And then at the end of the night, the audience is going to vote on which 3 organizations walk away with $15,000 in funding to make those initiatives happen.
Describe why this is an important thing to do.
So one of my big things is that 501c3 status is just that. It's a tax status. And so I really want to bridge the gap between the business world and the nonprofit world. And so this is our way of kind of bringing those business ideals into the nonprofit impact space. And kind of starting to use the language of business for impact. So using the idea of a pitch, using the idea of like investment is really important to start seeing nonprofits and impact as an important thing to add value to our communities.
Right. You have 8 nonprofits that are going to be in this contest, but you had 30 actually apply.
Yeah. We had a proposal process back in May and June. And we had over 30. I think the total number was 32 or 33 nonprofits proposed to us, which shows that there's a need on the nonprofit side. And so I'm really hoping that our community and our business leaders can step up and start helping out.
Oh, so this is something you hope will continue into the future with more funding.
I think that we'll be able to do it next year. My hope is that we can do this twice a year or even quarterly.
Okay, well, kind of describe what kinds of things people are going to see in these pitches.
Yeah, so we have 8 organizations that really cross the gamut in cause area. So Wasteless Solutions is an organization that tackles food waste in Utah. Their mission is to prevent and divert food waste. One of their biggest programs goes to grocery stores and restaurants and picks up food before it gets wasted and makes sure that it goes into mouths and gets eaten. They are launching an education program that would prevent food waste from even happening in the first place. And they're looking for seed funding to make that happen. There's another group called Defy Ventures. They work with individuals facing incarceration, and they want to run a 7-month CEO of Your Life program that focuses on entrepreneurship in Utah's prisons to help folks who are transitioning out of incarceration.
So some amazing pitches here.
Yeah, really cool. And my hope is we have 8 that cross the gamut on cause area. One of these my hope is will inspire everyone in the audience.
So who can take part in this? Who can be part of the audience?
It's totally free. Everyone's invited to come. We are opening it up to the community. We'd love for everyone to join us.
And that is the executive director of Indy Square, Vincent Carson. The event takes place Monday from 5 to 7:30 at Rowland Hall Upper School. Corner Canyon High School is gaining notoriety as a quarterback factory. Corner Canyon's football program has turned out recent NFL quarterbacks like Jackson Dart of the New York Giants, Zach Wilson of the Miami Dolphins, as well as Zach's brother Isaac, who plays for the U of U. Coach Eric Kerr says the school seems to have the corner on the quarterback market, with some recent notables making it to the pros.
Yeah, Wilson Boys, Devin Brown, Cole Hagan, Keeleman, who's been with this, Bronson Evans, and then obviously Jackson Dart's the one that everybody's talking about now.
The coach tells KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi there's a number of reasons Corner Canyon has gained this reputation.
We do try to do some things that give them a lot of opportunity to get better as far as like reps and things in practice and some things that we do with our throwing program stuff and just trying to teach them things coverage-wise. And just, I think probably the biggest thing, like I said earlier, was just getting them a lot of reps. Like they get a lot of opportunity to throw different concepts and different things that we throw at them in practice, and it pushes them to kind of grow.
Coach Kerr says he's grateful that players choose Corner Canyon, even crossing school boundaries to play, even though he knows that's controversial. And he adds his players also get good grades. Speaking of football, make sure you tune into special extended pregame coverage for BYU versus Iowa State tomorrow beginning at 10 a.m. It's sponsored by the New Millennium Group. And, of course, make sure you're subscribed to BYU Sports Updates. Just text BYU to 57500.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The Utah legislature introducing more and more bills every year. The governor says it's time to take action, and now one lawmaker says he wants to add some limits to the number of bills legislators can run each year.
You know, I think politicians, and I'm new to this, but I think that a lot of us believe that our effectiveness is being measured by the number of laws that we create. But my experience so far has been that constituents really want us to solve problems.
The time is 2 o'clock on Friday, October 24th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. So what would that limit be? Would it actually make a difference? We'll hear more from State Representative Clint Okerlund in just a few minutes. Also this hour,
Northern Utah seems to have to wait on a few things, and so it's just exciting to see this growth.
It's got quite the cult following, and people north of Salt Lake have been asking for it for years now. Now the Riverdale Trader Joe's is finally open. But first, our top stories. A federal shutdown is now showing up in Utah households with some federal workers suddenly without a paycheck. State Workforce Services says they've already seen a slight uptick in federal employees asking about benefits or short-term work, and they are urging anyone who may struggle soon to apply now rather than wait. One of those furloughed workers is Jonathan Laguna, a budget analyst with the U.S. Attorney's Office.
So it can be a little frustrating not being able to do anything with my time, because there's not a lot of places out there willing to really hire you, knowing that you could leave the very next day.
Workforce Services says resources are available immediately for workers who need help before bills come due. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Today's inflation report showed prices rose higher than expected in the last 2 months. It's a report that needed to be released so Social Security recipients could find out what their cost of living increase will be. ABC's Sherry Preston says some are already saying it's not nearly enough.
The average Social Security check is only about $2,000, and with next year's cost of living increase set at 2.8%, that averages out to be about $56 more a month starting in 2026. Many seniors say, like everybody else, they're paying a lot more for food, housing, and gas, leading 77% of people over age 50 to tell the AARP in a recent survey they don't think an increase of around 3% is going to do much good.
Your money at this moment, the Dow ending the day up 1%, sitting at 47,207, up 472 points. S&P 500 up by 53. The NASDAQ also up by more than a full percent, up 263 points. Ontario says it will pull a TV ad with President Reagan criticizing trade tariffs, but not just yet. It's a historic clip of the late president that the Trump administration says is an attempt to influence his Supreme Court tariffs case.
They're going to continue airing this ad through the weekend because of the World Series. The Toronto Blue Jays are playing the Los Angeles Dodgers in the World Series, so that could be a potential significant number of eyeballs that will be seeing this. But the statement from the Ontario government says they will pull it starting on Monday so trade talks can resume.
That is ABC's Karen Travers reporting. President Trump responded to the ad by canceling a planned trade talk with Canadian officials. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape, Ricky.
It looks like they've been able to clear the crash on southbound I-15 near 650 North in Clearfield. However, we still are dealing with residual delays coming from just after 31st Street in Ogden down to Hill Air Force Base just before 5600 South. Overflow delays on both eastbound I-84 over to Highway 89 and southbound on Highway 89 from the Walmart to the I-84 junction. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Back into the 70s for your Saturday. 70 the high. Slight chance of showers creeping back in. Sunday back down into the 50s with a high of 56 and a 50% chance of showers. 63 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Cooler weather. What a relief. Unless you have old drafty windows. Soon the heat will escape through the cracks and your energy bill's going to go through the roof. So now's the time to call Advanced Window Products and get brand new state-of-the-art custom windows and frames at factory direct pricing. The factory is right here in Salt Lake City, where they've been building precision windows since 1986, and you're going to save a lot of money since there's no middleman markup. You save 30, even 40% on your new windows. Even better, call now and they'll give you an extra $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Double pane argon-filled windows with a low-energy triple coating, any style, any color, and Advanced Windows gives you a lifetime warranty. If you have an issue, they're not 10 states away. They're right here in town, and they offer 0% 60-month financing. So make the call now. Get $2,500 off. 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Utah's legislators have been introducing more and more bills every year. Last year, more than 1,200 bills were requested, and about 1,000 were numbered, and 583 passed. In fact, the number of bills introduced and passed has been on a steady rise since at least 2016. There was a slight dip in 2020 and 2021, but the trends show a steady increase year over year. Governor Spencer Cox has said that he wants the legislature to limit the number of bills that they work on each session. On the last day of the 2025 session back in March, he told the Midday executive producer Andy Cupp,
"There are way too many bills. Way too many bills being passed up here. And I've said this, I brought this up last year. I'm going to start being a lot more vocal about this, that this is not good for us. And while we've allowed it to happen again this year, next year you will see me be much more vocal on this. And this is one of the problems. When there's that many bills, we don't even really know what's happening because we're so locked in and negotiating day after day in 45 days that sometimes we miss that there's this theme generating outside here. And so this is helpful feedback for me as I go into my review session.
And now one Utah legislator wants to put a limit on it. State Representative Clint Okerlund joined Inside Sources this morning to share more on his plans. And he says he did the math, and in the last legislative session, they passed 65% of the bills in the final week of the session.
You know, you're not passing a lot in the first couple of weeks because you're debating them, but 959 numbered bills is a lot of bills for us to sort through, and honestly, 377 of them failed or were not even heard, which means that there were a lot of bills that were created that weren't maybe necessary or that we shouldn't have worried about.
So what exactly is he proposing? He says it's still a work in progress, but he thinks that there needs to be a cap.
Right now, by my math, if we capped each representative at 6 bills and each senator at 9 bills, they've got more constituents, and I think I need them to vote for it. So we'll give them 9 bills, and then made some carve-outs so that if it's a committee bill or a base budget bill run on behalf of the whole group, that would not count towards their limit.
While it's still early in the process, Representative Okerlund tells Inside Sources that he's already gotten some pushback on the proposal.
Well, I've heard a little bit, and it's primarily from the people who run a lot of bills.
Yeah.
I've heard rumor that some legislators have already filed for 40 plus bills.
Oh my goodness.
Individually, which is a lot. And I think politicians, and I'm new to this, but I think that a lot of us believe that our effectiveness is being measured by the number of laws that we create. But my experience so far has been that constituents really want us to solve problems. And I ran on a platform of just wanting to make bad bills better and not trying to set a land speed record for the most legislation passed. And I was elected on that platform. And I think it's an important way for us to improve our legislation is by running fewer bills so that we can spend more time in committees, more time listening to the public in their public comment period, and more time debating them in the chamber so that the bills that we do pass are better bills and don't need more bills later on to clean them up.
The legislative general session begins in January 2026. Today, Trader Joe's opened up its newest Utah location in Riverdale. It's causing an absolute frenzy for those who live nearby. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson was at today's grand opening, joins us now live in studio with the details. And okay, Heather, what was it like today?
Maria, it was crazy there. Hundreds and hundreds of people lined up outside Trader Joe's today on Riverdale Road. This is right next to Ashley's home store, and it has one of the biggest parking lots in Riverdale. Even then, it was still hard to find parking today, but it was a huge celebration, a marching band out front, their color guard twirling flags, and 2 people in inflatable mascot costumes. Inside, they were handing out samples of sparkling apple cider, so a huge celebratory atmosphere. It was delicious, by the way. But it was an absolute zoo, Maria. There was no shopping carts because they were all occupied, and people were wall-to-wall trying to filter through the aisles. It was like Disneyland, weaving back and forth as everyone was trying to get a look at all the products in each aisle. And a lot of people just really, really excited to have Trader Joe's in their neighborhood.
So what is all this hype about? I mean, why all this for a new grocery store?
So I talked to a couple people in line today. They told me that they've been making the trek to their next closest location, which is in Salt Lake City, for a while now. So they're relieved to finally have one in their own backyard.
I'm so excited to be here today because I've been waiting 7 years for a Trader Joe's that I can actually drive to just on a lunch break and not have to trek all the way to Salt Lake for. Yeah. And they have all the great products, no food coloring, tons of organics. That's why.
I think it's just fun that Ogden is getting a Trader Joe's because northern Utah seems to have to wait on a few things, and so it's just exciting to see this growth.
We have a Trader Joe's closer than Salt Lake now, less drive time.
We're just happy to have one closer. 25 miles to Salt Lake was not it.
Not fun.
So you guys were making the trek over?
Well, once in a while, not as often as we wanted to, but this
just
will be
a
great.
little bit too far for us.
And here's what they had to say about why they were making that trek and what makes Trader Joe's so special.
Well, their prices are really good. I love that it's smaller so you don't get lost in the store. And they just have everything we can eat. We're vegan. We don't do food coloring. So, yeah.
I love Trader Joe's products. They have fun stuff.
Their secret is that they're a fancy generic, and they have a lot of fun flavors at attainable prices. So it's just a good place to come sample a lot of different flavors that aren't always in grocery stores for $5 or less.
It's just fun, great snacks, good vibes. All the workers are always friendly, clean. It's just fun. This is the fun grocery shopping store.
It is fun, an experience.
And another fun aspect to this new location is the murals on the wall. Every Trader Joe's tries to honor their local area. So at the Riverdale location, they had painted murals of Ogden's Union Station and historic 25th Street and one of the Hill Aerospace Museum. Here's Miles Bradshaw, the Riverdale's store captain.
We had some really amazing local crew members from other stores in the Salt Lake City area make all these beautiful murals that you see around the store, and they've been months and months in the making to prepare for today.
There were probably close to 100 Trader Joe's staff members there today to help with the opening in their Hawaiian shirts or purple T-shirts. Bradshaw said some of his employees are transfers from other stores, but they were also able to hire dozens from the local area.
Okay, so I know what my favorites are, but what were some of their fan favorites?
So people talked a lot about the affordable produce and their meats, and those with dietary restrictions were really excited about some of the options at Trader Joe's. Here's what Jamie had to say.
We lived in California for 15 years, and this is where all my recipes, I need ingredients from here, and we're both gluten-free, and it's the best place to get gluten-free stuff.
And of course, Maria, people love the snacks. There's so many good snacks. The dark chocolate peanut butter cups were a fan favorite. They were on one of the aisle caps. The JoJo cookies were a big hit. And here's a little sampling of what other people were interested in as well.
Well, their flowers are cheap and just their brand stuff. My kids like the talkie looking things. That's Trader Joe's and the JoJo's.
The Cinedragons and the fake Takis. And we just actually get all our normal groceries here.
My kids love the mochi of different flavors, and usually they're seasonal stuff.
I do love the advent calendars every year. I know that's seasonal, and I love the skincare as well. Great prices on the skincare.
The seasonal products are always a really big hit as well. I saw a lot of people walking out with apple cider donuts, which I'm very upset I didn't get any.
Love the seasonal products.
Yes, the pumpkin flavored products. A lot of those were seen today. So there are now 6 Trader Joe's locations in the States, with 2 more coming soon in Holiday and Harriman. But the Riverdale location is the northernmost Trader Joe's store in the States. So a lot of people really excited to.
I live in Holiday, and I saw the Trader Joe's sign go up on the old Cottonwood Mall where the Macy's used to be. They're opening on Halloween.
Are they?
Another
Halloween.
zoo.
Okay.
I'm so excited. I have to drive all the way to Sandy. That's the closest one to me. So
Yes.
yeah,
It's always
I get
nice
the
when you-
excitement. Oh, those seasonal favorites.
I wonder if their grand opening will be just as exciting as this one.
I'm certain of it. All right. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Utah food banks are scrambling to figure out how to keep up with demand now that SNAP benefits are at risk of stopping in November. Local food pantries say it's a big concern headed into the holiday season.
What's happening with the federal government right now is a big concern if the shutdown remains in place, because we're going not only into November 1st, where SNAP benefits will drop off, but also the holidays that quickly follow that. So that's a big concern to us.
Tom Haroldson, who is on the board of the Bountiful Food Pantry, says now that the word is out that SNAP benefits could run out, they've been seeing more people reach out for help.
The SNAP program will basically be stopped at the end of October. So therefore, even if you have a credit on your SNAP card, it's not going to be valid. There's no money in there for you to spend on food with food stamps. So as that news has progressed, so has the tick up a little bit, uptick, I guess I should say, with regards to inquiries. It's not huge compared to what it normally would be, but it's definitely higher than it would be on a regular basis. We serve about, I think, 300 or 400 families every week come to the food pantry in Davis County at the Bountiful Food Pantry to get food, get donations, and we expect that to increase. There's been pretty much of an increase the last couple of years anyway, to be honest with you, especially with news of inflation and the uncertainty as to what's going to happen with this particular government shutdown right now. People are aware of it, and they are starting to probably plan ahead and possibly stock up a little bit. That being said, nobody who comes to the pantry can, come in with a pickup truck and just start throwing food in there. It's rationed out based on need, but we're seeing more and more people wanting to come in and get donations, get some food.
Haraldson tells KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera food pantries have had to get more creative to get food donations.
We have a program called Buy a Pallet at our food pantry, the Bountiful Food Pantry, where organizations, families have even pledged money to buy a pallet of food. We can get that pallet from a lot of different vendors, and it allows us to bring in big quantities of food in non-perishable items that have a good lead time that people can come and get, and we can use them for weeks and months at a time. That's been very successful, and we're starting to see more and more of that effort with larger donations from different people in the community. Coming up with Thanksgiving, our pantry, a lot of other pantries have turkey drives. I believe ours is about the 10th or 11th of November, where turkeys are donated, because that's a huge thing this time of year, is making sure that people have turkey and all the trimmings for a Thanksgiving dinner with their families.
If you want to help, Haraldson encourages folks to reach out to food pantries in their own communities.
Best thing to do is to reach out to a local pantry. Obviously, we have one in Bountiful that's fairly large, but most communities have smaller pantries. They're the ones that really need the help. They can take financial donations. They can take food donations. If you don't know where the pantry is in your community, I'm sure someone within the city would know who's coordinating that. Obviously, the Bountiful Food Pantry has a website like everyone else these days. So I would say, contribute either cash or food donations, and try to do it on a local basis so that it goes directly to the community that you're living in.
Beyond the walls of food banks, Utahns online, from Reddit threads to local community pages, are posting their own calls to action to help the 80,000 plus people who could lose SNAP benefits next month. One man taking his mission to end child trafficking to the Bonneville Salt Flats. The mission dragging a truck more than 26 miles. I'll share that story with you after the break. But first, as KSL Traffic, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape, Ricky.
Seeing some early onset slowdowns already southbound I-15 as you go from the south interchange towards 90th South Sandy, and delays linger southbound I-15 in Weber County. They start prior to 31st Street in Ogden into Riverdale and Roy. Also slowing southbound Highway 89 from the Walmart down to the I-84 junction. Put your energy into the fight song, not fighting for parking. You win when you take UTA to the game. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Does it feel like someone's stabbing a knife into your heel? Or does your lower back give you problems as the day goes on? The Good Feet store wants to help you, like we helped Ann.
Every time I stood up, pain just shot up my legs. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet store. I went to them after my doctor diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis. And now, thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm 100%.
Wouldn't it be nice to get back to doing what you love, like Patrick did?
I was in constant pain. Somehow my fiance and I found our way into the Good Feet store. Put my foot on the arch support system. I put them in my shoes, my back, my knees, my ankles. Thank you. Thank you, everybody at the Good Feet store. You gave me my active life back.
Learn more or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com and come in and get your free personalized fitting at the Good Feet store. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. Did you know that we offer 3 distinct styles of gutter protection? Each one meant to handle a specific leaf problem. You might not even know there are different styles of gutter protection, but there are. And if you pick the wrong one, it could be a huge waste of money. Now, the big gutter guard companies won't tell you this, They try to sell you a one-size-fits-all gutter guard, and it could be completely wrong for the amount and types of trees and leaves you have. Not RGS Exteriors. We understand which kind of leaf problem needs which kind of gutter guard. We'll do an in-depth evaluation to assess the types, locations, and numbers of trees in your yard. Based on that data, we match your home to the right gutter guard. So don't risk wasting money on the wrong gutter protection. For a free evaluation and estimate, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We're streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. An unusual sight on the Bonneville Salt Flats today and tomorrow. The 6th annual truck pull is underway to raise money to fight child trafficking. Fitness coach Arlo Gagestein with Competitive Fitness in Ogden is hosting the event.
I've always kind of known about trafficking, about child trafficking, but not known much about it, and I still don't know enough about it, I'm sure. But when I started having kids, it really hit home, and I realized just how vulnerable they are and how we need to go out of our way to protect children. And so I started this kind of for that.
Gagestein tells KSL News Radio's Isabel Sosa the money raised goes to Destiny Rescue and the Tim Tebow Foundation, two organizations that rescue victims of child trafficking.
Saturday is kind of open if anybody wants to come out to the Salt Flats. We'll be the only people pulling trucks, so we should be fairly easy to find. But yeah, I need somebody in the truck to steer the whole time. And once the team event starts, I'll have fewer people to help me. So anybody that wants to come sit in my truck and keep it in a straight line would be awesome.
He says on Saturday it will be a team effort. 3
of the teams are teams that have been there before. So it's just somebody will put together a team of friends and family or whatever, and then they'll bring their own truck and they will pull 10 miles. So sometimes some teams choose to have each person pull for 2 miles and then just rotate out. And then some people will work together the whole time, and just they'll have people pushing and pulling all at the same time, and it goes a lot faster that way. But I think 3 of the teams have been there before, and then one team is actually my brother and my nephew and my son.
Okay, you have to get this, though. This year, Gagestein is pulling for 26.2 miles with just his strength.
I've been training for it for about a year now, and I'm ready just to get out there and do it. But I think it's always a great atmosphere, and to see so many other people out there with the teams pulling trucks for a good cause is just awesome, and it's uplifting, and it's great to be a part of something bigger than ourselves.
For more information or to donate, visit 10miletruckpull.com. A Salt Lake City artist's work was chosen to represent the Utah Jazz at the Rockefeller Center in New York as part of a special NBA tip-off event. The display is made up of basketball-shaped statues covered in art, each ball representing a different NBA team and designed by their city's local artist. Artist Trent Call tells KSL-TV he got the inspiration to design the Jazz-themed ball by talking to a friend.
So I kind of talked to a friend that's a huge Jazz fan, and he gave me kind of the down low on what's happening and all the new players. And so based on that, I drew 3 illustrations on 3 players. One of them you can't see very well unless you like are on top of the ball. Once it comes to Utah, you'll be able to see it better. The ace, I did like a ace card dunking a ball. You can't see it very well unless you're like walking around the ball.
Call says he has been a Jazz fan since he was a kid.
That was our only big sports team growing up. So everyone was all about the Jazz all the time. So it was kind of a thing everyone loves, you know. And now there's the hockey thing, and that's cool too. I mean, I still have a lot of I have a couple old Jazz memorabilia type, like the one that was yellow and green and purple blue logo. I've got some old stuff that's pretty cool. It's cool to see the logos transition over the years, you know. But I'm definitely an outside spectator, but it's fun to contribute. And in a way, it's kind of refreshing that I'm not like a mega fan, because then I might lean too much into one aspect or another. So it's nice. It's like fresh eyes, I guess you could say.
He says he's not sure how he was chosen, but he enjoys seeing all the different balls lined up together, letting the art community interact with the sports community. And again, his art displayed at Rockefeller Center in New York. It's 2:30, midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are following. UDOT is warning drivers of major delays this weekend through Spanish Fork Canyon. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints announcing 55 new missions around the world. We'll get some perspective on that growth in just a few minutes. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Already some slowdowns on southbound I-15, Murray and Midvale. Maria?
10% chance of showers tomorrow. KSL's top local stories in 1 minute.
ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. Ontario's government now says it'll pull down a political ad that caused President Trump to say he's canceling trade negotiations with Canada. Premier Doug Ford says the ad will come down on Monday after airing during some major baseball games. The FBI has conducted a major drug bust in Philadelphia, taking nearly 30 defendants into custody. Director Kash Patel.
We have permanently removed a drug trafficking organization out of the streets of Philadelphia, and they're going to stop pouring guns and chemicals and drugs into our communities, and our children are safer today.
More than 500,000 federal workers missed their first full paycheck today on the 24th day of the government shutdown. Among those affected are Labor Department worker Imelda Avila Thomas and her husband, who are thinking ahead to the holidays.
The material stuff, I think we could go without, but we just need to get back to work.
This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. The Salt Lake County District Attorney's Office will not file charges against a West Valley City police officer after the shooting death of Eric Bertelson in January of this year. Police say they found Bertelson in the act of stabbing his mother and father when they arrived on New Year's Day and fired shots to stop him. DA Sim Gill found the decision to use deadly force was reasonable. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is adding 55 new missions next year. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
The church says these missions will accommodate an increasing number of missionaries and will help them better support church congregations around the world. There are now 84,000 missionaries in 2025, serving in more than 150 countries around the world. These new missions will be created by adjusting the boundaries of pre-existing ones. There will be an additional 16 missions in Africa, 16 in North America, and even more across South America, Asia, and Europe. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
A new Trader Joe's location opened up in Riverdale today. It's Utah's northernmost location of the grocery store chain. Maddie and Shelley were two of the hundreds of people who lined up to get in for today's grand opening.
We're just happy to have one closer. 25 miles to Salt Lake was not it.
Not fun.
So you guys were making the trek over?
Well, once in a while, not as often as we wanted to, but this
just
is
a little bit too far for us.
The new location features murals that highlight the Hill Aerospace Museum, Ogden's historic 25th Street, and Union Station. This is Utah's 6th Trader Joe's, with 2 more coming soon to Holiday and Harriman. Taking a look at your money at this moment. At the close, boy, markets were on fire today. The Dow was up by more than a full percent at It ended at 47,207. S&P up by 53. The NASDAQ up by 263 points. UDOT is anticipating some delays on westbound US 6 this weekend because of a fall break and it also being the final weekend of deer hunting. Now, the department is warning drivers to plan for delays of up to 60 minutes or more. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
A new accident northbound to I-15 prior to 33rd South. They're working to get it moved out of traffic to the left, but it has caused traffic to get backed up into Murray and slow down southbound I-15 from 45th South down to Draper. When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cypress Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypresscu.com today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Tomorrow's high reaching back up into the 70s, at least 70 for a high, 10% chance of showers. Things turning big time on Sunday, 50% chance of rain, and the temperature down to 56 for the high. Right now, 61 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studio.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, what are you waiting for? Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
This October 28th, dare to dine in the shadows of the macabre. Join Bambara for the Edgar Allan Poe Dinner, a one-night-only 5-course culinary journey inspired by Poe's most chilling works, held in their private dining room, featuring dramatic readings, candlelit ambience, and dishes that stir the senses with eclectic pairings chosen by their sommelier in partnership with Libation Inc. Seating is limited, $150 per person. Reserve now before the clock strikes 6:30. Bambara-slc.com/events.
You do countless things without a second thought to protect your family and home. Every time you're in the car, you buckle your seatbelt. Before the next load of laundry, you remove the dryer lint. When you head out, you always lock your doors. And one simple task, done far less often, can protect your family and home this winter. Schedule a furnace inspection by a certified heating contractor to check for safety and efficiency. A friendly reminder from Enbridge Gas.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-859-3220. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-859-3220 or biglou.com.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. UDOT issued a warning today, something that caught me a little off guard. Now, the warning, heavy delays this weekend on U.S. Highway 6. To get more on that warning and what's behind it, let's bring in UDOT's Mitch Shaw. Mitch, thanks for being with me. So, okay, tell us what this warning is all about. Why do we need a warning for this weekend in particular?
Yeah, thanks, Maria. So we are going to be having, we expect to see some pretty significant congestion and delay on US 6, westbound US 6 on Sunday, so that's October 26th, from about 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And kind of in the area where the US 89 junction is in Thistle. So the reason for that is because there's going to be spring break traffic, and then that's also coupled with the final week of the deer hunt. So there's going to kind of be an influx of traffic, people heading back at the same time on that, those hours I mentioned on Sunday. So we think delays could be up to an hour during those times.
Yeah, is that what you saw last year during fall break and in the end of the deer hunt?
Yeah, we do see similar things like that, and so we do base our projections on what we've seen in years past, and we even saw some traffic last week on US 6, some pretty significant backup in the same area. And there was also a lot of school districts that were on their fall break. So, that's what we're expecting again this week.
This is a pretty tough one. There aren't a lot of alternatives. I mean, should drivers plan to drive all the way around and take I-70 and US 50, or what are you recommending?
Yeah, I mean, there aren't a lot of alternatives, so we're kind of recommending if you can avoid the area, please do, because the alternatives are kind of out of the way. So we would leave that up to people to make their own decisions. But we're just trying to let people know that it is going to be congested during that time. So if they can adjust their hours when they come home, that would be a really good thing to do. So instead of heading home during that 3 to 6 time frame, maybe go a little earlier or go a little later.
Okay. Remind listeners a bit more about the construction that's underway on Highway 6.
Yeah, so we have got a construction project going on Highway 6 from basically Utah County, from kind of the Diamond Fork Road to that US 89 junction I mentioned before. And it's just a safety project. We're putting in some concrete median barriers and things like that, but we are going to be pausing construction, so that's a piece of good news. So it's been down to 1 lane in that area, but we're going to pause construction over the weekend, and so we'll have all lanes of traffic open. So that would really, if we kept it closed, that would kind of even put a more significant pressure on the road there. So
that certainly would. Thanks so much for being with me. At first, when I saw this, I thought, well, the leaves, they're done turning, aren't they? What are people doing up the canyon? So we appreciate your help. Thanks, Mitch.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Joining me, UDOT's Mitch Shaw. Today, the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints announced a major expansion in the mission field. Starting on July 1st, 2026, the church will add 55 new missions around the world, bringing the total number of missions to 506. The church says more than 84,000 people are serving missions right now, and that includes young adults who teach, service missionaries, and senior missionaries. Now, it's quite the increase from just 65,000 at the end of 2022. Last hour, I spoke with Sarah Jane Weaver, current editor of the Deseret News and former editor of the Church News, to get some perspective on this announcement.
Well, I think this is a very exciting time for members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, because they're seeing momentum and energy. And young people are serving missions for the church in, as you know, locations they don't choose. Women serve for 18 months, men serve for 24 months. And this is sort of the prime of their life, and now they're doing it in record number.
Yeah, talk about this number. Has the church ever announced this many new missions at once?
Well, just 2 years ago, the church added 36 new missions. And at the time, they thought that was in response to the clarion call of President Russell M. Nelson, who in April of 2022 asked men and young women to serve missions. He said this is a religious responsibility for Latter-day Saint young men, and a very good opportunity for Latter-day Saint young women. And immediately numbers started to go up. And so we're seeing today's announcement as an indication that President Dallin H. Oaks, who is the newly sustained prophet of the church, is going to carry on in that direction, that he's going to emphasize missionary work, and that he cares about the development and this service opportunity for young people in the church.
So give us an idea about where these missions are. Are any of these in Utah?
Yeah, we don't have any missions in Utah, but some really interesting numbers. 16 of these new missions are in Africa. And what a great thing to think about for an international church expanding into that area. 14 missions are in the United States, including in some areas pretty close to us. There's 3 in California, and 1 in Idaho, and 1 in Arizona. And then there's 5 missions in the Philippines, and in the Pacific, and 4 in Europe and in South America. And so you're just seeing a continual expansion of the global footprint of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Many missionaries are younger people, although there are plenty of senior missionaries too. But given today's religious environment where fewer young people are taking part in religion, I asked Sarah how this growth bucks that trend.
Well, we're seeing some interesting trends. Just in 2023, Pew Research released some findings that said young people are, especially this current generation, are leaving organized religion at some of the highest rates that we have seen before. But recent surveys are showing something a little different. They're showing a stabilization of religion, especially Christianity in the United States. And so maybe this younger generation is returning to organized religion.
Sarah Jane Weaver is the editor of the Deseret News. The church says missionaries are serving in more than 150 countries and teach in more than 60 languages. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
If you are facing divorce, call Cordell and Cordell today.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. CordellCordell.com.
Utah Mammoth Hockey is back at Delta Center. Don't miss your chance to be part of the excitement as the Mammoth hit the ice all season long. Grab your friends, rally the family, and lock in your seats for the fast-paced, hard-hitting action. Great seats are available for most games, but they're selling fast. Head to UtahMammoth.com to get your tickets today. That's UtahMammoth.com. Your home for all things Mammoth hockey.
During the movie show today, you heard a special announcement. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square announcing their special Christmas musical guest, Stephanie Block. Ahead of the announcement, Stephanie sat down with our very own Andy Farnsworth.
Have you done Christmas shows before? I mean, you have a Christmas album, so I think you would, but tell me about your Christmas show experience.
Oh my gosh, my Christmas show experience goes all the way back to my teenage years, actually. I would work at a dinner theater every year during Christmas time, and so we would perform there. I worked at Disneyland year after year, so whether I was playing the glockenspiel at the Disneyland parade surrounding Santa, or at the base of the castle celebrating Christmas there at Disneyland. And then through years and years and experience, I had the great pleasure of being the Christmas soloist there at Carnegie Hall with the New York Pops, the Kennedy Center with the National Symphony Orchestra. I've been able to play Lincoln Center and other gorgeous halls around the world. So Christmas has always been a very pivotal, vibrant, and gorgeous time because I get to celebrate using, my gifts, which is really what it's about, being of service and hopefully bringing our gifts together that time of year to bring warmth and spectacle and joy.
Have you had any experience with the Tabernacle Choir before?
I never have. I have been prepping myself as much as I can, listening to all of the albums, watching some of the PBS specials, but it really seems to me like you might be standing at the front of a train, like that wall of sound that comes from those 330 voices and those 115 musicians. I don't know if I can quite wrap my head around what that is going to sound like. So to be at I'm using air quotes, the helm of that for this particular year is wild to me. It's exciting to me. It makes me tear up a little bit. And I got to tell you, there's something beautifully scary about it too, just because of its grandeur.
I don't mean for this to sound insulting at all, but have you ever performed in front of 20,000 people before?
No, and unless you're like unless you're Celine Dion, I don't know many people that have. So I think the largest space I've ever sung at is in St. Louis. There's this really gorgeous outdoor theater that holds between 11 and 12,000. So I have been able to perform in that space. But to add another 10,000 on top of that, holy smokes. I will say, and again, I hope it is received as intended with great humility, but I think one of my superpowers is that I can bring comfortability and I can bring something that feels like home and intimacy regardless of the size of space. And I really hope that I'm able to achieve that this Christmas. So yes, the grandeur will be there, but I really hope that everybody can also feel just the warmth of the music and the warmth of what we're trying to create in these concerts.
The Christmas concert will be on December 11th, 12th, and 13th. Tickets will be open starting next Tuesday, October 28th at 10 a.m. It's Friday, and after the break, we'll get a look at some of the cool stuff in Utah with the Arrow's John Smith. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape, Ricky.
In Davis County, we have a new accident southbound I-15 prior to Parish Lane, Centerville, partially sticking out in the right lane and causing delays into Farmington, and the cleanup of a crash northbound I-15 prior to 33rd South. It's now out of traffic on the left shoulder, but not before backing traffic through Murray. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hello, Utah. I'm Josh with IWC Roofing. For over 25 years, my family has been safeguarding your homes with the finest roofing solutions. We value your time, and we're committed to replacing most roofs in just one day with a peace of mind 50-year shingle warranty. Call us today at 801-232-5690 or visit iwcroofingutah.com. Ask us for the $1,500 off any full roof replacement. Financing available, 801-232-5690. Utah homeowners, look no further than IWC Roofing for a roof that stands the test of time. With 25 years of excellence, IWC is your trusted family-owned roofing expert. At IWC, we offer one-day roof replacements with top-tier quality materials, all with a 50-year shingle warranty. To keep a leaky roof from dampening your day, we're offering $1,500 off a full roof replacement. Get a free estimate. Call 801-232-5690 or visit iwcroofingutah.com. 801-232-5690.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next-day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pros don't just show up, they prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
Attention Jazz Nation. We know you've been waiting on the edge of your seat, and the time has finally arrived. All tickets are available now. Let's go! Your favorite players will be back on the court, bringing the energy all season long. Whether you're looking for season tickets, mini plans, or single game matchups, there's a perfect option for every kind of fan. Show up loud and proud at Delta Center this season. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action. Buy your tickets today at utahjazz.com.
Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877
accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This October 28th, dare to dine in the shadows of the macabre. Join Bambara for the Edgar Allan Poe Dinner, a one-night-only 5-course culinary journey inspired by Poe's most chilling works, held in their private dining room, featuring dramatic readings, candlelit ambience, and dishes that stir the senses with eclectic pairings chosen by their sommelier in partnership with Libation Inc. Seating is limited, $150 per person. Reserve now before the clock strikes 6:30. Bambara-slc.com/events.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. It's Friday and time for cool stuff in Utah with the Arrow's John Smith. Halloween is upon us, the time many people like to take part in all of the spooky attractions that Utah has to offer. So let's talk, John, about one of your scary videos, and apparently there's no shortage of attractions to visit.
I don't know where it came from or how it started, but Salt Lake City specifically is the place for haunted attractions. Like, our haunted attractions here are world famous.
Really?
Yes. Dating all the way back to the 1980s when you had the Old Mill and March of Dimes. And then in the 90s, you had Rocky Point Haunted House. The one that I helped create, Alien Encounters. I don't know if anybody remembers that in Taylorsville. It was the old red house on Redwood Road.
Okay.
So, yeah, me and my friends put that together for a few years. But since then, it has become a full-on industry. And the best haunted houses in the world, 3 of the top 10 are right here in Salt Lake City.
You have data on this? Like,
Oh,
this
absolutely.
is real. You're just not your
No.
perspective, right?
There are publications and conventions, and there are entire industry professionals set up around this. So I'm going to talk about the #1 haunted house in the nation.
Okay.
Fear Factory.
And you went out and did a video at Fear Factory.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I like
These
how you
guys,
said
they
that. Oh,
work on the
yes.
Fear Factory all year. And here's the fun thing about Fear Factory is it was once upon a time the Portland Cement Factory, a place where numerous industrial accidents and deaths occurred, and their ghosts wander the halls to this day. But we get a lot of great behind-the-scenes action. We talk about some of the movies and TV shows that have been filmed there over the years, including shows like Charmed, Angel, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, stuff like that. So if you want to check out this video, it's on the YouTube, it's on the KSL app, it's on the Arrow app, or it's on 1035thearrow.com.
Okay. Do you get to see ghosts in your video?
I don't know. Do you?
I don't know.
Do you believe in ghosts, Maria Shilaos?
Yes.
Are you?
I
Oh, you
actually
are
do.
a believer. Then,
Well,
you
at
know,
least
you might,
in spirits.
you might see some orbs or hear some EVP in there if you listen closely. I say it's there, but I have some skeptics that say it's just dust or whatever. But yeah, it's a very creepy, very, very truly authentically haunted location.
Okay. Truly authentic. That means that people have actually seen some of these ghosts that you're telling us about?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. No room for speculation. This building is haunted.
Okay, so what goofy or unique take did
Of
you
course,
take here?
right?
I know you too well.
You get to see me playing with all sorts of props. Doing all sorts of random bits with foam axes and chasing people with chainsaws and stuff like that.
I like the fact that you said foam axes.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me play with the real one. I tried.
You took a look at your mohawk and just said, "No,
They're like,
this
nah,
guy's
I don't
dangerous.
think so." Spencer
We're
Terry,
not
the guy
doing it."
the guy who runs the Fear Factory.
Okay.
Another fun fact: the people that were behind the haunted old mill that we talked about last week, and the famous March of Dimes haunted house, Bob Dunfeld. He's also one of the guys in charge of the Fear Factory. So there's a lot of Utah heritage and history in this locally owned and operated haunted house.
Okay. What other, for those of us who just can't take the scare, what else is happening this weekend?
Well, we've got a couple of concerts, one of which is Blue October. Going to
Okay.
be in town, rock and roll tomorrow night at the Union. And then we've got the sports. If you like the sports ball, Utah
we
taking
do.
on Colorado at Rice Eccles tomorrow.
So
the
late,
Grizzlies, you remember
8:15.
you remember the Utah Grizzlies?
Of course
They're
we
still
do.
a thing, right? We don't not to get
Yeah.
overshadowed by the Mammoth. They're doing their last season here in Utah, so if you want to go watch some hockey, some local hockey in person, they're playing Idaho on Saturday at the Maverick Center. It's a lot more affordable than to go see the NHL team. And of course, the Jazz taking on the LA Clippers, the other LA team, on Wednesday
Jazz. They won their opening game. That was pretty exciting.
this week. Yes. So they're 1-0.
Hey, listen,
So
we're going to
far.
take it, right? Remember last season? It's great.
So there's plenty to do in Utah this week.
And you can find John's cool stuff in Utah videos on YouTube. Now, before I leave you today, I wanted to remind you to make sure you stick with KSL News Radio this weekend as we cover the BYU game this Saturday against Iowa State. You can catch